What's up, guys? So here, just in my office, a little after hours, and wanted to give you guys some talk about nutrition, and how you think about that. So shredding versus bulking, let's just say, if shredding, I feel like this is why I feel I have permission to talk about, maybe weight loss or fat loss, if you will. There's a lot that goes into this stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, some of the best people in the world that look at this, doctors would still say that this is a complex situation, but most people try and keep it as simple as possible. So just to keep it very practical with you, and mitigate emotion, your body has what's called maintenance calories. Normally your body stays at the weight that it's at, and if it stays in a similar place, it's because you're usually keeping your body at a similar maintenance count. Of course, pending exertion, of course, pending, what kind of workouts you're doing and stuff like that. But usually you have your maintenance calories, and that helps you get an idea on, okay, if I want to shred a healthy way, you could do 200 to 300 calories less each day to set yourself practically on a pace to get into a more shredded state. If you would consider yourself obese or a fat, I still like that mindset of in a more shredded state, decreasing that fat, decreasing the, potentially giving yourself a position to lose weight, but mainly to shred fat. I think that that's a good mindset, because sometimes when you're working out, muscle, you're told muscle it weighs more than fat, and sometimes you're put on muscle and you feel like the scale's not moving, but you've been working at it, and so sometimes it could get a little confusing paying attention to the weight matter things. But 200 300 calories is safe. If you're shredding, 200 to 300 calories less. For myself, I think that I probably cut anywhere from 500 to 1200 calories, just depending on the day. And with that mindset, a lot of it is me considering the fact that you use your carbs for energy, you use your fat for energy. Your protein is used to build, repair muscle, and so you think about what you're trying to do here. If you're trying to shred, but you don't want to lose muscle, high protein intake is a good idea. Some people like to match 1 gram of protein, half a gram of protein to 1 gram of protein per pound on your body, as a good measure. But anyway, protein can be huge to keep your muscles in size while you're cutting down those calories. Usually when you cut down calories, if you're cutting out food, maybe you're cutting out the essential protein that was keeping your muscle in size. So that's why a lot of times people might use supplements, which could be considered 5% of the equation, but supplements can be used to still hit your protein goal while also not putting on too many calories, and still allowing yourself to mitigate carbs and fat intake, depending on what you would like to to mitigate there, get or use less of. So a lot of this can be, I would say this: if you're looking to shred, period, cut out processed foods. I would say try to avoid eating processed foods ever again. I could already tell after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I know this isn't easy for everybody, but if you can mitigate it, processed foods are just so hard for your body to digest and break down. Just like you've heard, and this is so outlandish to use, but gum even, it's so hard to break down in your body. And so things that are hard to break down tend to stay there. And so you might be carrying over weight from something that you ate, days ago, and weeks ago, I don't know. So mitigate processed foods. It's good for, yourself, your colon, your intestinal tract, everything. But cutting down alcohol too. It's said that alcohol can, once alcohol attaches to, or once acid attaches to fat, it tends to be even harder to break down. So, maybe mitigating that alcohol intake, and trying to eat similar things too. If you eat the same thing over and over, we're creatures of habit. You've heard that. Well, your body also seems to be creatures of habit. I know from personal experience, my body, when I intake, I get a lot of crap because I eat 6 bagels a day during my bulking period, and people think that I should blow up like a Oompa Loompa, but I my body can handle it, and I do bulk a bit, and it is in my head a little bit of a clean manner. There's 1 to 2 grams of fat in each bagel, and there's 9 grams of protein, 50 to 55 grams of carbs, and I use, since I don't have much fat on my body. I mean, I have it, but I use the carbs a lot for energy. I use the calories a lot to keep my body functioning, and my body seems to need it. I've always had a pretty fast metabolism. I always usually struggled to put on weight, and so I do that, but my body gets so used to it, and it breaks it down fast. I can eat 3 bagels fast, and I can still feel hungry, not too short after, anyways, not to go too deep in that, but that is something that, rice, I eat that almost every day. Just if you're eating the same things, chicken, fish, your body can get not only good nutrients from that stuff, but it can get used to it. So, breaks it down because it's used to knowing how to break it down. A good mental picture to keep in mind is that 1 gram of fat has 9 grams of calories, or excuse me, 9 calories. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. 1 gram of protein has 4. 1 gram of carbs has 4 calories. So, when you think about it and you're doing the math on what you're eating and putting into your body, that could be a way that you kind of use to your disposal how your body is working, how you've got to the point that you're at, how you'll get to the next point, and do it from a practical manner rather than sometimes an emotional manner or a guru manner from somebody. And two, it's said that your body is using something like 80% of the calories that it is taking in. 80% of that's just keeping your organs functioning, your body functioning, and the other 20% is exercise exertion or exertion of your body. So really, most of the calories that you're putting in your body, they say that the abs are made in the kitchen, or whatever is made, your body's made in the kitchen, and that couldn't be almost really any more true, because what you're putting in is what you're getting out, what you're seeing. Even during this bulking phase, you start to see your face get a little wider, your neck get a little wider, and a little, your muscles get a little, almost have like a softer look or cover over them, and you're intaking more carbs and more fats, and you hear that in some way, shape, or form, like carbs turn into sugar, something like that. So I don't quote me on that, but I look into it. But just if you can if you're trying to shred and that's your goal, these are some things to consider when making that happen. Mitigate fat. If you feel like you're fat, mitigate fat. Find things that don't have as much fat in them. Find your maintenance calories. Find things that have less fat, and maybe even maybe even just by hitting your maintenance calories but decreasing that fat, you might see a difference in your body after some time. I don't know what that time period would be, but again, you want to look at doing something, get 200 to 300 calories to do a safe shred, a healthy shred. But I think you can hopefully do 800 even, depending on who you are, or 1,000, so depending on who you are. So look at that. If you're trying to bulk, do 200 to 300 calories more. You're bound to, once you find your maintenance calories. How do I find my maintenance, Tyler? Well, add up, just take 3 days. Add up everything that you ate for 3 days. Figure out if there's a commonality there between the calories that are in everything, the calories at the end of the day for everything that you ate. Find an average, and if you weigh yourself every day for those 3 days or 5 days, or do it for a week, and find out if your weight's fluctuating or if it's staying the same. And that'll give you a good idea what your maintenance is, and then just go 200 to 300 calories more. It doesn't have to be, well, I don't have a good coach. necessarily or anything like that. It's, do the math yourself. Go in and just get it done, get it figured out. And then from there, enjoy the fruits of the knowledge that you have, and just move forward. So my recommendation would be is consider all those things. Mitigate processed foods. I would say get rid of it. Find out what your maintenance calorie is. Do that, and then decrease by 200 to 300 if that's your goal in calories. Decrease by 500. Some of you can decrease by 1,000. I've heard of some people decreasing by even more than that. And feeling safe about doing it. So figure it out. If you see your energy dropping, it's probably because you're dropping quite a bit of carbs and fat, and your body might not be used to it. And maybe say, well, I'm gonna do a little bit more carbs and less fat. If you're a runner, maybe you want the fat because it's got, it's more of a slow burning energy, whereas carbs are more fast burning energy. Every person's different. Your body type. Take the information here, use it, throw it in the trash, whichever. But these are things that I think about when I'm going through my shredding or bulking phase. I like to use for breakfast. I have 6 bagels when I'm bulking. I have a shake, a vanilla shake, vegan with greens. Nothing whey either. It's a little bit easier for my stomach to digest. It's it gets less inflamed. I feel it breaks it down easier. So I do a vegan shake with greens. And then for lunch I'll do something like rice and chicken. And then for dinner I'll do trout, and I will do egg with it. I'll mix together. Might not be the cutest meal, but I'll find something and trout, fish, any sort of fish, eggs. Trout is a fish, I know. So any of those, high in protein, low in fat, also low in carbs. You can't, some people say, well, do the pescatarian diet. Well, maybe if that's for you, if you're high in carb storage and you're high in fat storage, maybe that's the thing. But if you're not, after a while doing all that fish, you're helping, you're putting your protein in. But even also too much protein, I believe it, from what I've heard, it can turn into fat as well. Do your own research. But protein can eventually, if it's not, it's kind of like if you don't use it, you lose it, but you lose it in a not so favorable way with too much protein. So kind of gauge it out. It's your life. Use this knowledge that you maybe didn't have before, and move forward and see what you can become, and from there, maybe practically instead of emotionally, you can help other people as well with what you got, and then maybe emotionally too, but at least you got some stuff behind it. So much love, guys. Let's go, let's get it, let's work. Much love.